it's good to see you again.
You too.
Yes,
I missed you. You
we
look
got
great.
to
You
our
sound great. You're doing big things. I love it.
oh
I'm glad to be here.
well, thank you. I'm glad to have you back. It's always family when you're here. It always feels good. And so I'm not gonna we have our interviews that I'm gonna make sure are tagged so people know who you are. If they don't, I'm sure they do already. I don't have to really say much about that. But we'll tag the initials so if they don't know they can catch up. Today I want to talk love.
Ooh.
Come
Let's
on.
talk about it, honey.
Let's keep this party going. Leslie got it fired up. So we're
Okay.
gonna keep it rolling today.
All right.
Um, so tell me, as a woman who has moved from DC, right,
Yes.
and moved down to Atlanta, uh, there are some people, and I know the people watching right now come from all different backgrounds. They have all different sexual orientations, but one thing is fundamental. Men in DC are different than men in Atlanta. Let's talk about it.
Very different. There's a huge difference between men in DC up north and men in Atlanta. The men in DC, and even just up north, when I say up north, I mean DC, Philly, Jersey, New York, the further up north you go, they're a little
Yeah.
bit more aggressive. They're a little bit more assertive. They approach you, they pull up, they tell you what they want, they see what they want, they go after it. The men in Atlanta, they're a little bit more passive. They'll kind of sit back and wait for the women to approach them. And,
All right.
the women are a little bit more aggressive and assertive in Atlanta than they are up north. So the men kind of have gotten a little bit more spoiled. They're more accustomed to women approaching them. It's kind of like, the MARTA bus. They know if one passes, there's going to be another one coming 15 minutes
That
later.
is the truth.
Yes. So, that's the difference that I've experienced here.
So with that, I will agree. All right. So if I was like with Leslie, one of the things I do is when people start going on their excuses tangent, is kind of what I call it. They take the excuses train and they say, well, this is a circumstance, this is a situation. Would you agree that you have to learn to work in the environment, or do you have to find somebody that is completely different inside the environment? What do you agree with? Do you feel like you have to adapt, or do you feel like you need to find somebody that fits what you want specifically?
I think it depends on the person. You know what I mean? Some actually, there's some men that women are willing to adapt to and adapt for, and then there's some women, some men will say it takes a special woman for me to adapt and for me to change. You know what I mean?
True.
So in that case, it all depends on the individual. If he's worth it, I'll adapt. And I'm sure it's reciprocated as well.
I needed somebody to hear that, because I feel like people get pigeonholed into their environment.
Yes.
And they come down from DC and they say, I'm used to aggressive men. And so they move to Atlanta and there's like this plethora of options everywhere. And so men don't have to necessarily be as aggressive.
Right.
Ladies, you can put 100 on that. So I was telling Leslie, like, you have to become the person that can adapt. Like, if you're hunting in DC, where the buildings can only be so high because it's our country's capital, and they put a cap on how many stories can be on the buildings, versus Atlanta that you can have skyscrapers, there's a different level of approach that you approach a city like that, right? Like you hunt differently. Your angles have to be different when you're shooting your shot. Right?
Absolutely.
So there is some adapting that I think that people just aren't willing to accept that they must do in order to get what they want. I'm a big go after it if you want it, right? Like excuses light. Like make your list of all the reasons why it's not good, and then look at it real good and be like, yep, those are all bad reasons. But here's how I'm going to do it.
I'm with you.
Like, period. So what would you tell a young lady if she came to you right now and said, I'm in Atlanta, it's hard, because you're looking for a young man right now as well. So what do you say to yourself in the mirror, like, to make it work? When you get up, you say, I'm gonna find love today. What do you tell yourself? How do you encourage yourself in this climate?
You know what? I just, I think about what is it that I want? What's my end goal? You got to lay it all out in your mind and figure out what is your end goal. Are you looking to date? Are you looking for something permanent? Are you looking for a friendship to build and grow from there? And then I just base my decision based on that and evaluate it, from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. What is, Leslie was talking earlier about her challenges in the past and things she's experienced. And that was one of the things that for her were difficult. So we're doing like a group coaching for Leslie right now. Let's say that. This will help a lot of women out there.
Yeah.
And men, actually, let me say that too. So she had these past situations and immediately in future opportunities, it causes her to struggle with potentially finding love or taking the risk on a relationship again. What do you say with somebody or to somebody who is struggling with past situations when it comes to focusing on their future love?
Here's the thing. I believe everyone over the age of 30 is going to have some sort of baggage that they're going to carry with them. Some are going to have a clutch bag, some are going to have a carry-on bag, and some are going to have a huge roll-on trunk. You know what I mean? Everybody at some point is going to have some previous history or baggage that they're carrying with them. The key is, how is that baggage being managed? How is that baggage being carried? Are they struggling? Are they carrying that baggage in that way with ease? Are they taking, what the last guy or girl did to them in their previous relationship and it's affecting their current relationship? That's the key. How are you managing and how are you carrying those issues and that baggage that occurred previously in your past? And the key is, to a successful relationship, don't let the past affect your present or your future. That's the key. What that last guy did doesn't mean the next guy is going to do, or what the last woman did doesn't mean the next woman is going to do. You have to handle each person individually. You have to understand the person's love language, and you have to adapt. What we spoke of earlier, you have to adapt, and you have to understand what their needs are, understand their love language, and speak it. It's kind of like talking, if you go to Japan and you're talking Spanish, they're going to look at you crazy. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the love language. If someone's love language is acts of service and you're buying them gifts, it's not going to work for them. You're going to have a disconnect in communication there. So, that's one thing that'll be very helpful.
That's a good point. Let's dive into that. So you're meeting somebody and it feel a little awkward to just go up and say, you want to take this 5 love language test, Right. So day one, talking about, I got a little quiz for you to see what type of person you are. How would you best monitor or assess what type of person you have in their love language without taking that test?
You just watch their movement. You listen. The key is listening. You have to listen closely. You have to pay attention. It's one thing to hear what someone is saying, but it's something totally different to listen to what they're saying. If it's easy. And when I'm dating, I'll ask, are you familiar with the 5 love languages? And most people are, and they'll tell you what it is.
Right.
But I'm not one to play the guessing game and one to assume, because you could be off. So I would say ask. Let them know what your love language is. Some people don't even believe in love languages.
That's true.
So it's just about listening to the person of interest and asking questions and learning them. Learning what their hot buttons are, learning what they like, learning what they dislike, learning what makes them tick, learning what turns them on. It's about learning them and listening and then executing from there.
That is some wisdom right there. You got that thing down. You are actually, you're going to have your podcast. And so tell me about that, because I am very excited to hear more of your perspective on love, and we'll be able to get it more consistently. So tell me about where that will be and on what platforms we can find it.
You know what? I've been going back and forth because I'm really stuck on doing an audio podcast and everybody is like, we want to see you. We want to see other guests. We want to see you. So I'm toggling between platforms. Do I want an audio podcast? Do I want a video podcast? And, you know, do I want to do it on YouTube? Do I want to do it on Instagram? Do I want to do it on Facebook? So right now I'm doing the research to figure out what is going to be the best platform, but it is called Temporary Forever. And it's going to be based on relationships, all types of relationships, from poly relationships to bisexuality, and, you know, all types of things that, you know, people may not want to talk about every day, but you know, we're going to spill some tea. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun and funny. So definitely, you know, I'm hoping everyone will support and be on the lookout for it.
Absolutely. Well, I am excited about the future of that. Let me just tell you, you can always do a video and just extract the audio and have your podcast. So, you know, you don't have a face for radio. You know,
okay, thank you.
People want to see you.
Okay,
people want to see you.
So, yeah, I mean, sometimes I just want to be in my bonnet on my cell phone and record it. You know what I mean?
Tammy Roman, she got Bonnet Chronicles.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you know, audio. I mean, video sounds is good, but, you know, audio sounds very tempting. You know, no one will know I'm in my bonnet in my pajamas recording. So,
well, whatever platform you choose, we'll be ready to consume that. And since you are going to have, I'm assuming, guests, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, let me let you get your practice. Go ahead and let's switch roles, and you be the host for a minute. Go ahead.
You're going to put me on the spot like that, Byron?
On the spot, because this is what you do. You got this. You got this.
Gosh. Oh
yes.
My gosh. Okay. What do you think is a hindrance for successful, attractive women today finding love? I would say here in Atlanta, 90% of my friends, they're gorgeous, they're successful, they have their stuff together, they're articulate, they're educated, and guess what? They're all single. What's the problem?
That is an amazing one. Now, let me just tell you from observation what I feel like is a hindrance to the beautiful, successful woman who is out there right now. I'm going to tell you in one sentence.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
I'm all ears.
Women empowerment. Now, I am an active feminist, a man who supports women, the women's movement, and all things equality. I agree wholeheartedly with, I mentioned it earlier, women can go after men and all of that. Here's my thought when I say that, because I got to say it very strategically here. Women in this day are too much about just women. So to the point that it puts men down. Now, I do believe in equality for the ability for women to rise and men not have to go down. Here's what it feels like for most men when you hear men talk in circles. That they feel like, you know, men can't be strong. That they have to be a weaker version of themselves to make a woman stronger. I believe that a woman can be strong without having to be overtly strong. You know, like the voice doesn't have to get deep in order for her to be strong. She doesn't have to be Wonder Woman with all this garb and armor on. That you can be a strong woman without having to make a man feel small. And I feel like a lot of women are trying so hard to be bigger without realizing mentally they already are. Like you already are a boss. Like you already have you can get his attention if you really want it. You can in this modern day, you can actually move up in ways. You can create your own businesses. You can do all these things. Somebody said men's egos are fragile. Women's are too. You tell a woman that she don't look right or her hair is out of place, she's running to the restroom. So I don't want to hear that just men's egos are fragile. women's are too. The reality is people are fragile today. People are fragile, not just men, not just women. And the sooner that we realize that we honestly are all in the same boat emotionally, we will stop all these books about what a man thinks and what a woman thinks. Honestly, today a lot of that crap is invalid. What is valid is everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be appreciated. Everybody wants to be respected. Everybody wants to feel important. Everybody wants a chance to have their voice heard. Everybody wants a chance to be able to interact with somebody, and when they speak, they feel like they're understood, and that when the other person speaks, they can understand them. Everybody wants that. Man, woman, everybody. Even pets want that. They want to be able to hear their master speak and do the action that is spoken to them. Everybody wants that. Get back to the basics. The basics are not male, female. I don't care what your anatomy is. I don't care if it's X and Y or X and X or unknown. The truth is, if you can get to the heart of a person, if you can get to their heart, you will get them. If you can find a way to get to who they are, to scrape off all the muck and past situations and pains that they have gone through, and find them underneath. If you can get to the gem in the midst of the mind that you have to mine them out of, if you can find a way to break through, then I don't care if it's a man or a woman, you will have a mate. Because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of good looking people. There's a lot of women out there who are looking good, smelling good, dressing good, professional. They got all the qualifications you got. What makes you different? It's not going to be anything external. Right. I promise you. It's not going to be anything. So you got to tell when you mention beautiful, that's cute. When you mention got your business together, that's cute. When you mention got your edges tight, that's cute, right? They tight. I see your baby hairs. But that's what does this to a man. But that's not what does this to a man.
Right.
Or a woman.
Right.
Let's be honest. That's why I said everybody. Because what's going to get your friends and you to find your mate is going to be who you are as a person, how vulnerable you can be to expose your heart, to share your stories, to give life lessons that you've given to someone. Like, a man should feel like his potential wife, because that's what you're trying to be, that his potential wife is somebody he can rely on. So he needs to hear your wisdom. He needs to know that in crises, he needs to know you've gone through stuff. See, you want to hide stuff, but he needs to know you've gone through stuff and made it out, because now he can rely on you to be the type of person that if he gets in something, you can help him pull him out. He doesn't need somebody cute. Guess what? He can go get a younger version of you. He can go get a pretty version of you. He can find honestly, he can find a doll version of you if he just wants pretty. So he does not need a physical version of you for pretty or for clothes or for success or for pleasure. He needs, and women need, to feel like not just today is secure, but tomorrow. He needs a woman that can be his tomorrow. He needs a woman that he can build foundation.
That's right. That's right.
So, short answer, be more than what he can see.
Woo, that was a word right there. Amen. I mean, I'm looking for the collection plate to just put $1 in it or something. Because, I mean, that's all facts. You have to have substance. You have to bring something more to the table other than your exterior and a big butt and a smile. You know, everybody wants someone that can teach them something. I know that turns me on when I'm in a relationship. If he can teach me something, I am more turned on than his dimples and his six pack. Seriously.
Come on.
Amen.
Come on.
Right?
You know how many plumbers have gotten women because they fixed some pipes? And I'm not talking the ones in her system. Hello? Oh, okay. I am saying, hello? Like he came over and was able to fix a leak.
Right.
Right.
Right. I mean, doing
Because
something.
it
Like,
triggered
yep.
something about tomorrow.
Right.
Like, what if this gets broken again? I'd
Exactly.
like him around. He might fix
Exactly.
this again.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, who I would rather be able to call on my man than call Roto-Rooter. You know what I mean? Because, you know, what does it look like somebody else coming to lay the pipe instead of my man? Because it might be some other pipe he might be laying.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing. If you lay it, like, look, think about that, because I'm talking about tomorrow versus today.
Exactly.
Your looks are today, but sex is today.
That's right.
Understand that. Sex is just for that moment. And so that's why a lot of people aren't keeping partners, because when the sex fades, there is no tomorrow. Like the man, he already knows he can get it again. So it's like, I already got it once, so I don't have to buy this because I already got it. But when you got something that he's nervous he might lose.
That's the thing.
He might lose your wisdom.
He
might lose your knowledge base. He might lose the way he feels when he was with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you don't bring something to the table that he has that fear of losing, then you're indispensable.
Period.
To the left, you can get your stuff and go to the left. You're replaceable
Swiping all day.
Point, you know?
Swiping all day. I love Tinder for that reason. When I tell people, when people go on my online dating course, and I tell them to fall in love with online dating, there's a reason. Because you got to get used to being swiped left. So you realize that you after you get swiped left enough, you realize, okay, there's something I got to do different to break through the noise of what's happening out here. Right. See, what happens is a lot of women haven't been declined enough.
Really?
A lot of women haven't been swiped left enough for them to realize that all the stuff they thought, that little profile picture, all that stuff they thought would keep a man or attract a man, when they got swiped left with it, they realized then that it wasn't enough. And so a woman might not learn that lesson. A man might not learn that lesson until somebody says, nah, you good.
That's right.
You cute, but you ain't that cute.
Just like she has a filter on her profile picture, she might have that filter in person too.
Come on.
Okay, you better ask somebody.
You better ask somebody. So, I mean, honestly, it has to be real. It has to be a situation where you are, and I use this word all the time in love coaching, when I'm working with one-on-one clients, especially my clients who are like celebrity clients, because vulnerability is one of the hardest things to give after you have been like you mentioned, after a certain age, you've been through something. So being able to give yourself again and be transparent and be vulnerable and open your heart. I say, how can you have love poured in your heart if you have a lid on it? It's impossible. Only open hearts are able to receive.
That's true. That's true. But you know what?
And only open hearts can give out.
Yeah. And in that same vein, you know, that other person has to make themselves vulnerable too, so you can be trusting to let someone in, to be able to be comfortable, to peel back those multiple layers and to take that mask off. You know what I mean?
That is true.
Some men, you know, keep this hard exterior. Oh, I'm an alpha male. You know what I mean? So it makes it difficult at times for women to peel back those layers and become transparent, to be able to let that guy in too. So it kind of goes both ways as well.
It does, and it doesn't. So let's go to that, because I love that one. I love that one. Okay. Let me do this. If I asked you, when you go, let me do this. When I'm in therapy or somebody's coaching, when I'm coaching somebody, they don't ask me to be vulnerable, right? They are vulnerable with me because there is something they want from me that will allow them to get what they need.
Got it.
So they come ready to be vulnerable because ultimately they realize that their vulnerability will help extract from me what they need to receive.
Mm.
It's the same thing in relationships. You have to be who you want to be. You don't become the vulnerable person because somebody's vulnerable. Now every action you're making is predicated on someone else's actions. You
Okay.
are complete. You are whole. I am a vulnerable, transparent person. I am willing to share certain aspects, and you can mark what they are. Certain things you will and won't share up front, but they have to be vulnerable enough to appear vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, you are able to then get what you want. You will learn when you give it. If they are slowly able to give it back, you are getting what you want. If they don't, you are also getting what you want because you're seeing that they're not willing to participate.
Mm.
Relationships are often asymmetrical. It is very rare that two people are in the same love space at the same time.
True.
Someone is normally the one pulling the other person. And it happens like this. It's like tennis. Somebody is hitting and somebody's receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's hitting and somebody's receiving.
Mm-hmm.
But if you always think you got to be the one receiving, if you don't show me, then I'm not going to give you. If you don't show me, then I'm not going to. If you don't do this for me, then guess what? The other person could be saying the same thing. And so you end up not playing the game at all.
Exactly.
You end up not having any interaction that is meaningful at all. So the quick solution to that is to be yourself.
Right.
Be the person you want to be in a relationship. And guess what? If they match you, it's meant. If they don't, it's revelation. Either way, it's positive. Either way, it's a blessing. You got to stop looking at, oh, I shared too much. No, you didn't. You shared just enough because now you know whether or not they're it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. However,
yes,
you do have to adapt. That's that word that we mentioned earlier.
Yes.
You know, for instance, if you're a needy person and the person that you're dating, they don't like to be bothered, they don't like to be smothered, then you either need to adapt and kind of fall back and kind of lose your neediness, which is an aspect of who you are, or find somebody else.
Right. I mean, yes, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
In a relationship, you will absolutely change in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
That is the nature of relationships. The nature of relationships. You actually understand what the word relationship means. That when you look at the word the etymology of the word, means to do again. Ship means to a state of being. So to reship something is to send it back, right? You got something, you sent it back. The mid word there is to carry or bear. A relationship means to bear something, to carry something back to its original state of being. Your job in a relationship, even us in a relationship right now, I am helping you transport. You're helping me transport. I am carrying you. You are carrying me back to an original state. What's the original state? You ask me. It is to not believe in fear, to not believe in pain, to not believe in disappointment, because originally you didn't know any of that. You didn't know what your type was. All you knew was I like them. You didn't know pain. You didn't know people disappointing you. You didn't know people hurting you. You didn't know people letting you down. You didn't know anxiety. You didn't know depression. You didn't know any of that. A relationship is ultimately supposed to carry your burdens. So guess what? You automatically change when you get in a relationship because you are immediately carrying more weight than you were accustomed to. If you're in the military and they give you your army bag, that is new weight that you have to get adjusted to. Relationship is weight. Relationship is burden, but it's not bad burden. It's blessed burden. It is the blessing of a new role, a new title. It's like being promoted to CEO. There's more pressure. There's more responsibilities, but guess what? It's blessed because that's what you asked for. So the question is this the burden I really want? Do I really want to be in a relationship? Because it immediately means I got more burden, but my burden is my blessing. It's what I prayed for. So yes, you will change. You will adapt. You will, guess what? Carrying weight makes you stronger. So the pain that you feel, the discomfort, is really the strength that's happening in your body. And so pray for more relationships that allow you to get stronger. Pray for relationships that allow you to expand and to become the person that can handle more in your life. Pray for that. Stop saying that this ain't gonna work because you too difficult to deal with. That just means you're too weak to deal with them. And guess what? True. You may be too weak for them. If you're too weak, you step away. Stop blaming them for being who they are. You start realizing in the mirror that I'm the one that's weak to handle them, because somebody's strong enough for them. Somebody can handle their idiosyncrasies. Somebody can handle their traits. Somebody can handle their quirks. Somebody can handle their hangups. I'm the one that's weak. You're not bad. It's me.
Ooh. Child.
So when you come to me and say, well, you got to change. No, guess what, baby? Get your strength up.
That's right. Oh, ooh, you got me doing the church shake in here now. That's right. I mean, one person's trash is another person's treasure, basically.
Absolutely.
Right. And like
Absolutely.
It goes back to saying what I said before, you know, you have to find someone that's willing. Everybody comes with baggage, some sort of issue, some sort of past. Everybody's going to come with baggage. You got to either, you know, it's how it's managed. You got to find someone that's willing to help you carry it and unpack it, or, you know, throw it on the plane and go elsewhere.
That's a word right there. Look, you can't build a skyscraper on a house foundation.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
You got to have a foundation strong enough to support the weight of whatever you want. And honestly, sometimes some of the best people come with the most baggage.
Really?
Absolutely. Baggage is nothing. We talked about it earlier. Baggage is nothing but experience. Baggage is nothing but lessons that either have or have not been, because it could be either. They are either the ones that they have learned from or the ones that they haven't. But either way, it's in their bag.
Right.
And they can go in that bag and learn from it at any time. When you have somebody who's been through nothing, they have nothing to pull from. Right. They have no place to dig from. They have no emotional well to dive deep in. And so when somebody has baggage, baby, that person could be your biggest blessing, because they could be the one that tomorrow wakes up, dives in their bag and realizes, oh my God, look at all the amazing things I've overcome. Look at the lessons I've learned. Let me now apply some of this wisdom I should have applied yesterday. And tomorrow they become the ultimate person that you actually wanted. The person of your dreams could be the nightmare yesterday.
Wow. I love that. Baggage is not bad. Baggage is nothing but experience. I love that. I love it. Good stuff.
Period.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't matter if it has a LV or some C's or some G's on that baggage. Doesn't matter. It could be a Target bag. It could be a Louis Vuitton bag. Baggage is experience.
Baggage is experience. Yes. And whatever your experience is, that's what your experience is. And it's what you learn from it. It's what you pull from it. I'd rather somebody pull up with a station wagon full of baggage, and I know that there's something I can work with. There's something I can deal with. There's something we can talk about. We can investigate. We can explore. Than for you to pull up with that little dime bag worth of baggage. What you see is what you get, and it's not much at all, because this person's closed-minded. This person is stuck in their ways. This person is not malleable. This person is not flexible. This person is stuck. This person is who they are, and who they are is going to be who they are. They've only had one experience, and their one experience is the only thing that they're accustomed to, and they probably need to date somebody with this experience too.
Wow.
But when you've had this experience, guess what? This person can date somebody who can handle somebody in here.
Right. Perfect. Yes. All right. Then.
So I need all of your experiences. That's why it's important to have vulnerability in your conversations up front, because it allows the person to see how big your bandwidth is. How much can you handle? Because when I come to you with this secret, I need to know that when it falls in here, that you can handle it.
Right. Right. Mm.
And for men, they need to trust that you can handle it.
Right. Hey, I can handle it. Can he handle it?
Daddy, he can.
Yes. And if he can't, hey.
Hey, God, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, this was it. This was it.
I mean, I've learned something. You know, because I've always looked at baggage as being negative. You know, and I mean, it has such a negative ring to it. Oh man, you know, you talk to a guy. You know, what happened with you and your ex? Oh, she has too much baggage. So it's always been perceived as a negative, as well as, instead of looking at it as experience, like you said, something to pull from previous, previous hurts can end up into, new learning experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Them saying this person had too much baggage is really them saying, because I say, everything you say is a reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
So them saying that person has too much baggage is them actually saying, I don't have enough space.
Right. Or like you said, those bags are heavy and I'm not strong enough to help carry them.
Period.
Right.
Self-reflection.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you don't need to be stronger. Maybe you need to deal with somebody who has less baggage. And if you accept that, when you know that, then you can go into dating with a clearer mind. And you can find somebody that really matches what you need. And I'm glad the people out here are getting something from this, because for me, I see a lot of people trying to date on a level that they can't handle. You see toddlers trying to date adults.
Woo!
You see people who, seriously, you see people who have had no experiences but gaga goo, don't know how to communicate, dealing with somebody that's got a PhD in English. That's when the Bible talks about not equally yoked, that's what that is.
Right.
That's what that is. Right.
Right. What do you think of communication? Because I know, communication barriers can definitely wreck a relationship. All right.
Yes.
So what do you think the best communication tactics are for couples that have problems communicating?
Talk. Look, let me tell you, I personally, this is one of the things I struggle with as a person, as a human, not a love coach, yes, but as a human being. Most men, and I am a man, I've grown up not learning how to communicate. Women talked to each other. They had tea parties. They communicated. It was communication early on. Men don't often get that. And when we talk about stuff, it's never deep. It's about sports. It's about the news. It's about life. It's about our new car. So it's very surface. Mm-hmm. So for someone to dive deeper and have a deeper conversation, what you have to do, again, it's asymmetrical. The person who's stronger has to just keep going. And if the conversation hits a dead end, then what you do is pause and come back. Mm-hmm. Communication doesn't have to be, and remember, communication is like text messages. You send it out, you put out your point, the other person gets time to respond, and they respond to it. We think that communication has to be this, that if I say something, you got to respond. All right, now your response, my response, your response, immediately back and forth, tennis match. That's not how all communication happens. Some people need it to be, I said this, now you process.
I said what I said.
Right. And then you said it. What you said was some no. And you process it. And when you process it, I give you the time that you need. Now, the time has to be relative. I give you the time that you need to respond. Mm-hmm. And when you respond, it's to what I asked or what the conversation is. Right. It's not to something else. Mm-hmm. So communication is talking consistently about the topic at hand. And we are able to engage back and forth. The barrier is often the expectation that it has to happen all at one time. And that's not true. It doesn't have to happen at one time. It can happen in a series of conversations, but as long as the understanding gets there, again, I say this all the time now, that the goal is not as important as the process.
Right.
Trying to be fully understood is the goal, but I'd rather us be on the track to the understanding and appreciate the track that we're on than to be fully understood in 1 second.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. When you think about, you had mentioned earlier that people move at different levels in a relationship. What do you
Yes.
think a woman should do if she's been dating someone for a while and she's ready to take it to the next level and he isn't? Is it a situation where she should wait or should she move on?
That's a great question. All right. So here's how I put that. I have an analogy for this. I talk about love as a journey all the time. But one of the things I recently started using to help with this thought is a train. Now, for someone to get on your love train, they have to have admission. So they have a ticket. So you let them in, right? And wherever you started, that is your seat number. And they're sitting beside you.
Okay.
Okay. So you have accepted wherever the starting point was. Now honor that.
Okay.
This person came here and I sat here and we are here together. And I honor that we chose this space together. This was a mutual decision and we're honoring the mutuality of the decision that we made to be here starting. Okay. Now, when I meet you, I don't know how fast you are.
Right.
I don't know your speed level. I don't know any of that. All I know is that we chose to be in this place together. Okay. Now, how am I going to get mad at you for moving at a pace that I didn't tell you I was going to move in? And when I met you, we didn't have a conversation. Hey, and just to let you know, I like to move in together within 3 months, and I would like kids in 6 months. And by the way, no, you don't do that. That's nobody does that.
Right.
What we do is have these expectations that based on what I feel like the movement should be, that's the movement you should give. And you should know to give it because that's what I want.
Right. Right.
So where's your communication? How you set the expectation of 10 feet when he didn't know that there was 5 feet?
That's true.
To jump over that hurdle.
That's true.
So you chose this one space together. This is the most clear space, the beginning. Right? The most clear is the beginning. And here's what I'll say. While you are in this space, let me just say this. While you're in this space, the train, that's why I like this analogy, the train is still moving. Understand, hours are going by. Days are going by. Weeks are going by. And guess what? This space that you felt so good in is still good, or else you wouldn't be expecting to move forward. And so months have gone by and you're still enjoying this space. Is sharing the space together, is that enough? If nothing progressed more? Because what you're asking for is to move to the next cart up, the next train ahead, when really it's the same journey.
Oh, okay. Right.
Days are still passing. Weeks are still passing. But you want, oh, that's my bae. But you feel good every day you're with them. You feel amazing every time you're in their presence. Days are going by, weeks are going by. So you need to say, all right, let's take this amazing thing and just move it up to the next train ahead because I feel like we should.
Right.
But should you? Is the question. And if you shouldn't you move at a pace where you both mutually, just like you agreed here in the first cart, do the same thing and moving to the next together? If you're ready, and I'll go back to the whole part with Leslie on the last one, talking about, are you ready? You're ready because you got ready. You didn't ask them, are they ready? And you can't be mad that you took a long time to get ready to move to the next place. And now suddenly because you're ready, you need them to be ready because you're ready.
Right, right.
You're never going to get ready at the same time.
That's true. That's true.
So you have to then be ready and be okay to be ready. And if they're worth staying on your train, it is worth moving up together mentally, emotionally, physically at the same time.
Got it. Because like you said, that train is still moving. And while that train
It's
is
still
still
moving.
moving, your cute years are passing you by. So you might not want to let him off at the next stop.
Thank you.
Okay?
You gonna mess up.
Right.
You gonna create tension in the seats that were tension free, that were carefree and easy and loving. You're creating tension because your expectation to move now because you got ready is going to create that.
True. That was good, Byron. That works. That works for me.
Let's go.
Yes.
I love it. You are back. This was great. Thank you for this.
I mean,
this is a great
comments. We got people taking notes. People are learning things. I'm learning some things. So this is awesome.
Come on now. That's it.
Yeah. Let me
Let's
know.
go.
Can I help you with any love advice?
You know, so being professional and knowing that you have a child, so you have responsibility. And when you have responsibility for your business, your brand, your child, a lot of people, their business is like a child. What do you say to someone who is in a space that they are growing something, grooming something, and they want to make sure that they respect their relationship, but they also respect their baby?
I don't think I understand the question.
So it's like you have your child, but you want a man, but you got a business, you got your child, you want everything to work together. How do you merge your lives and have a healthy life?
I would say always, my child will always come first. And fortunately for me, I don't have a child, I have an adult. You know what I mean? But still, when she was younger, I didn't have any men around her. You know, my daughter's 24 now, and she has probably only met 3 men that I've been involved with, including one that I was married to, you know, and her father being the second one. So I would definitely protect and shield her, you know, from guys that I would date, because I didn't want her exposed to, you know, seeing me date people and, you know, now I'm dating someone else. You know, I wanted her to have consistency in her life. But I would say, you know, overall, just in terms of managing a business, managing, you know, being a parent and, you know, in romance, it's possible, it's doable. There's people that, you know, manage multiple businesses, that are in school, that are single parents of 3 kids and have a healthy relationship. So it's just all about setting that expectation with the person that you're dating and letting them know, hey, I have things going on, and you know, I'll make time when I need to make time. But, you know, and sometimes it's hard, especially when you have kids, because again, you know, you don't want him coming over and you got to tell your kid, hey, go in the bedroom. You know, Uncle Jimmy's going to come over.
Come to the bedroom, yes.
You know,
go to bed now. Go to bed.
So you just have to, you know, you got to put everything on a schedule and prioritize and have your ducks in a row, and, you know, just flow with it, but set that expectation that, hey, I'm an adult, I have other responsibilities, you know, outside of this relationship, but I'm going to do my best to make it all fit together.
I love that. Thank you for that. Thank you for letting me ask that. That was a great answer. Yes. And thank you for really being a part of this show and what we're doing. I can't wait to work with you more. I think we got some amazing things to do when quarantine is over.
Absolutely.
And so we're gonna start a whole love revolution. Let's go. Yes. Get some black people in love and married and things.
We're going to create some babies for folks, some wedding bells, heal some relationships.
I hear some wedding bells. Yes.
Because see, my finger's still empty right now, so we got to get a ring right here too.
We're going to get one on you, on me. Let's go. Let's do it. It's real. It's time. It's time. You know what? And I believe it. And I feel like where we are at this time in history is such a pivotal time for people to know that love is possible at all stages of life. And I'm excited to see you doing your thing. I'm very proud of you, my Black queen. You are on it. And you are all ready for love, my dear.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm ready for love. I'm ready for another baby. I'm just
Yes.
kidding. I don't want another baby. I'm just joking about that. But yeah, you know, I mean,
Knocked up.
yeah. You know, and I'm a huge fan of love. Like, I'm a sucker for love. I love love. I love loving. I love being loved. Like, I'm a lovely individual, and I just love love. I'm just such an advocate and cheerleader for love. I love seeing people in love. I see couples in love, and I'm just like, oh, they're so cute.
That's one of my top advices
Yes.
to single people. Hang around more couples. Watch more movies about love.
Right.
Do things to get your mind ready for what you say you want. Because you hanging around all your single friends that complaining about people and saying love isn't possible is not helping you at all create the world of love that you say you want.
Quick question, and I know we're coming short on time, but do
Sure.
you feel that single people can give relationship advice?
I feel like single people can give relationship advice as long as they are pulling from their bag, right?
Yes.
They're pulling from their bag,
Right.
and they have experiences that match what they're saying. So like the wisdom of an elder could be single, but they've had enough experiences to speak to you in a way. Also, they understand that their advice is just that. It's advice. It's not your final answer. It needs to be molded to fit you. It needs to be shaped to fit your situation. And that their advice has to be taken into your own filter and allow you to apply it in a way that makes sense to your reality.
Right.
So normally single people come to you like, what you should do. And that's not what people like you and I do. We come to you and say, so what are you thinking? How does that feel? How does that make you feel? What do you think about that? What is it that you want? And when you answer those questions and apply the general truths that we give, it then allows you as an individual to find your own truth and really walk out your own journey, because everyone has a unique love journey.
Yes. And everyone loves differently as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody's strength level is different, as we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So to my married friends, I'm still good to give you advice as a single woman. Okay.
Thank you. Tell them. They be looking at me sideways like I can't give marriage advice, but I'm telling you, actually, I'm probably better than some of the people that have been in very bad long-term relationships, calling themselves a relationship coach, and they in a terrible relationship. So,
right. Exactly.
Probably.
Yep.
Yes. You are awesome. See, this is why we got to keep vibing. This is why we got to keep doing this, because somebody is getting help right now. You know what? I feel like years from now, because I'm gonna put this on YouTube in a few days. I feel like somebody's gonna look at this years from now, and get their answer that they needed. Okay?
Because these people, I mean, I'm feeling the vibes. I mean, somebody is about to go give their man some oochie coochie. Somebody is about to tell their man, you're not strong enough to carry these bags, and they're going to walk out and find their soulmate. And somebody is just going to just figure out and ponder on their current situation and make a decision. So, hey, we're out here changing lives, man.
Changing lives and changing bedrooms.
That's right. You know it.
Oh, my queen, I love you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on here today. You are like really
fun. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You are amazing. Keep doing your thing. We'll be waiting on your podcast. Let's go. Devyne Blessings.
All right.
We're going to do it again, all right?
Bye.